Welcome back to the channel. If you love stories of ultimate justice and brilliant strategy, subscribe right now. Don't forget to like this video to fuel more content like this. The buzz of betrayal. It wasn't a sound, it was a vibration. The 2:17 a.m. notification was the faint buzz of a mosquito's wing against the Carrara marble of the bedside table. In the suffocating, climate-controlled silence of their Tribeca penthouse, New York City, Alexandra Alex Sterling lay wide awake. 6 months pregnant, she watched the second burner phone, the one her husband, Marcus Thorne, CEO of Thorne Private Capital, claimed was only for his European clients. Illuminate. The screen was black, but the text preview glowed with poisonous intimacy. Sienna, the Ritz, 9 p.m. Don't be late. In that instant, the expensive silence of her life, bought with a $50 million condo on Billionaires Row, became a tomb. For the last 3 years, Alex had considered this silence peace. Now, it felt like a vacuum stealing the air from her lungs. The golden cage. Alex moved into her cavernous walk-in closet, a space larger than her entire first apartment in Boston. On one side, Marcus's custom-tailored suits, Brunello Cucinelli, Savile Row, stood like a disciplined army. Her own wardrobe, a vibrant collection of haute couture he had personally selected, faced his. A stunning explosion of Dior and Chanel. He called her his exotic bird, and this was her golden cage. She gently touched her 6-month pregnant belly. This child, his heir, was supposed to be the final, perfect piece of their perfect life. But the joy had curdled into a cold, heavy knot in her stomach. The betrayal hadn't arrived suddenly. It was a slow poison that seeped into the foundation of their marriage. Office nights that bled into mornings. Urgent business trips that left him faintly smelling of a perfume that wasn't hers. Portrait of a Lady by Frédéric Malle. Too sophisticated. Too deliberate. The way he guarded his phone. Once open, now a dark secret. Marcus was a creature of habit and towering arrogance. That combination, Alex realized, would be his undoing. He believed he was too clever to be caught, and that she was too docile, too in love, to even suspect. The awakening of the strategist. The calendar notification was a mistake, a hilariously amateur error for a man of his stature. Sienna, the Ritz, 9 p.m. The name was elegant, expensive. Alex's first instinct was to scream, to shatter the placid surface of their lives. But a deeper, colder instinct took hold, an instinct she thought she'd buried forever. Before she was Alexandra Thorne, society wife and aspiring philanthropist, she was Alexandra Alex Ruiz, one of Washington, D.C.'s most ruthless opposition researchers. Her job wasn't accounting. It was dismantling. She tracked real money, dark money, exposing the rot buried under layers of complex agreements. She found the offshore account that ended a senator's career. She had given it all up for Marcus, exhausted and tired of the fight. He promised her a life of peace. Now, looking at that glowing screen, she realized her old life hadn't died. It had merely been dormant. That night, she didn't sleep. She retrieved her encrypted laptop, a relic Marcus found endearingly paranoid, and started to dig. Not into his phone, but into his money. Money never lay. His finances were an impenetrable maze of shell corporations and offshore trusts. For anyone else, yes. For Alex, it was a language she spoke fluently. His biggest weapon, his supreme arrogance, was now hers. He never imagined she possessed the skill to truly understand, much less navigate, the system he'd created. Before we get into the details of her investigation, comment your thoughts below. If you were Alex, would you expose him publicly right away, or plan a private revenge? Share your strategy. The blueprint of destruction. For weeks, Alex spent her nights mapping his empire while he slept or dined with his mistress. A ghost in the machine, she traced wire transfers, analyzed credit card statements, and cross-referenced expense reports. Sienna LaRue. The name appeared repeatedly. A condo in Miami, paid for by a Gibraltar SLU, linked directly to Marcus. A Black Centurion Amex card, accumulating charges at high-end hotels globally. Flights mirroring his own, but always one row behind. He wasn't just having an affair. He was funding a parallel life. The pain was immense, but the strategist in her was detached. The pain was data. It drove her. Then came the real catalyst. Last Tuesday, Marcus was in his home office skiff, a soundproof room for delicate negotiations. Alex was passing by when she heard his voice, sharp and stripped of its charm. The prenuptial agreement is ironclad, Kenji. She walks away with $1 million. That's it. Kenji Tanaka, Marcus's famously ruthless attorney. Alex froze. Her blood turned to ice. But the pregnancy complicates things, Marcus continued, his tone like flint. The optics are awful. We can't have a messy public divorce. So we control the narrative. We build a case, unstable, hormonal, emotionally erratic. We'll order a psychological evaluation. We'll prove she is an unfit mother. Unfit mother. The phrase hit her like a physical blow. He was going to take her son. Once we have the leverage of the child, she'll fold. Kenji's voice drawled through the speaker. She'll accept the deal and disappear. Supervised visits, twice a year. Alex bit down on her hand to stifle the sob of incandescent rage. He wasn't just planning to leave her. He was planning to erase her and use her child as a weapon. In that moment, the heartbroken wife died. The strategist was reborn, armed with a mother's fury. He wanted to leave her with nothing. She would leave him with less. Operation Bonaparte. Alex went to her office and locked the door. This was no longer about heartbreak. This was war. She opened Marcus's financial maps. She saw the load-bearing walls, the pressure points, the keystone holding up the great arch of his fortune. She needed an ally, her brother, David Ruiz. The family's black sheep, a cybersecurity genius who saw the world in code. He'd always hated Marcus, calling him a charismatic sociopath. She texted a single message to the burner phone's only saved number. Operation Bonaparte. Are you in? A childhood code for an audacious high-stakes plan. The answer arrived in less than 30 seconds. For you, Caro, I'd burn the internet. Send coordinates. The target date. 2 weeks later, when Marcus was scheduled to fly to his secluded villa in the Hamptons for a solo wellness retreat. The flight records showed a second ticket. He and Sienna would be sleeping. Alex would be working. For 14 days, Alex played the devoted, glowing pregnant wife. She feigned cravings, discussed nursery colors, and smiled warmly every time Marcus touched her stomach. Every smile was a lie. She methodically gathered the vital keys, security protocols for private banking portals in Geneva and the Cayman Islands, the specific vocal authentication phrases for his Swiss broker, and the seed phrases for his crypto cold storage, which she found on a USB stick hidden inside a hollowed-out copy of Machiavelli's The Prince. The irony was delicious. David set up a chain of VPNs and prepared her clean slate package. A new identity, Anna Millen, a Portuguese passport, and a network of untraceable bank accounts. He was her digital ghost maker. The night before Marcus left, he gave her a gift, a ridiculously large diamond necklace, for the most beautiful mother-to-be in the world. Alex let him clasp it around her neck. "I'll miss you," she whispered, meeting his gaze in the mirror. The woman in the reflection was a stranger, a serene smile, and eyes as cold as the diamonds on her throat. The demolition Marcus's jet departed Teterboro at 10:05 p.m. Alex watched the icon move slowly across the flight tracker until it became a speck over the Atlantic. She walked to the silent, opulent walk-in closet and unclasped the diamond necklace. She didn't return it to its velvet box. She dropped it onto the thick carpet. It was a shackle. She wouldn't wear it anymore. Her war room was the home office. The battle would last approximately 8 hours. The window between Marcus falling asleep mid-flight and his private bank in Geneva opening for business. She initiated a secure, end-to-end encrypted call to David. Phase 1, you green? Green across the board, David confirmed. I'm inside the Thorn Capital network infrastructure now. He left the key under the mat. The smart home integration. I can monitor every data packet. If a silent alarm triggers, I'll kill it before it even thinks about dialing. The strategy was a cascade, designed for velocity and devastation. She would initiate a synchronized, multi-front financial collapse. Target 1. Brokerage accounts. Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. To access the accounts, she needed the 2FA code sent to Marcus's primary phone, now 35,000 feet in the air, set to airplane mode. David, I'm logging into Morgan Stanley. I need you to intercept the 2FA. Ready now. Click. Sent. Got it, David had said. A tense 4-second pause. The code is 7934S92. Access granted. Alex didn't liquidate everything at once. That would trigger alerts. Instead, she initiated a series of strategically blocked trades. Highly liquid blue-chip positions were sold in carefully spaced transactions, immediately converting to cash. The critical step, moving the money. She funneled the funds through 3 of Marcus's own forgotten shell corporations that she had silently taken control of before finally landing the cash in its ultimate destination. A new corporate account in a Liechtenstein private bank, under the name Helvetia Strategic Solutions, an entity controlled by Anna Millen. She repeated the exact process with the Goldman Sachs account. The numbers in the Liechtenstein account climbed at an astonishing rate. Target 2. Offshore strongholds. Pictet Group, Geneva. This was the most difficult. Pictet required vocal authentication. You need to give me your best, Marcus, David said, a trace of dark humor in his voice. Alex was ready. She'd spent weeks synthesizing a passable voice print. She dialed Pictet's private banking hotline. And now for vocal authentication. Please state the phrase, "The mountain air is the clearest." Alex clicked a button. The digitally recreated voice of Marcus Thorn stated the phrase. A long, agonizing silence followed. Verification successful, the banker stated. How may we direct your funds, Mr. Thorn? Alex quickly dictated transfer instructions, moving the $200 million balance to the same Liechtenstein account. Target 3. The Apocalypse Insurance. The cold storage crypto. David guided her through it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all transferred to a single, anonymous wallet. Value, $80 million. Final target, the insult. 6 a.m. Her window was closing. She logged into their joint checking account. Balance, $7,256. She emptied it to the last cent. Then she paused. She allowed herself a grim smile. She initiated one final transfer, a deposit into the same joint account. Exactly $100. She leaned back, her body shaking. Final tally, over $600 million liquidated and transferred. It's done. Phase 1 is complete, David whispered. Jesus, Caro, I'm looking at the logs. It's a digital guillotine. You didn't just steal him blind. You erased him. Phase 2, she said. The data, Marcus's internal server. It contained his entire life, including the hidden, encrypted partition labeled contingency, his blackmail folder. I'm initiating the transfer to the secure cloud, David confirmed. Once finished, I'll wipe the source drive. Department of Defense level sanitation. Not a bite will survive. As the data flowed, Alex moved through the house. She took no luxury item, no jewelry, no art. She packed one simple suitcase, the burner phones, her new passport, the crypto ledger, and the tools of the life she would live after. She walked into the master bath and retrieved the positive pregnancy test from the drawer. She placed it gently on his pillow. Her phone buzzed. David's message. Download complete. Wiping drive now. You have to leave, Caro. Now. Alex descended the grand staircase for the last time. In the foyer, she stopped. She took the house key from her purse and placed it on the marble table beneath their wedding portrait. Then she walked out the front door, leaving it unlocked. Her undetectable rental car, reserved under a false name, was waiting at the end of the long driveway. The sun was rising. It was the first day of her new life, and the last day of Marcus Thorne's. He just didn't know it yet. The collapse, Marcus Thorne woke to the voice of a silky smooth flight attendant offering a hot towel as they descended into the Hamptons. He felt invincible. The first hint of trouble was subtle. As he settled into the plush car, he pulled out his Amex Centurion to tip the concierge. "My apologies, Mr. Thorne," the man said politely. "It's been declined." Marcus stared. Declined. Impossible. Try again. Same result. He pulled out another card. A J.P. Morgan Reserve. Declined. Sienna watched, a touch of concern on her face. "Everything all right, darling?" "It's nothing," Marcus snapped. Something cold had settled under his skin. He spent the ride home checking his banking apps. "Invalid credentials. Please contact customer service." When he finally reached his private banker at Morgan Stanley, the voice on the other end was tight and formal. "Miguel, I was expecting your call." "David, what the hell is going on?" Marcus snapped. "Mr. Thorne," the banker said clinically, "a full liquidation of your portfolio was initiated approximately at 11 p.m. last night. All assets were converted to cash and wired out. As of 3:45 a.m. this morning, your account balance with us is zero. Zero." The word tasted strange. "The same pattern was detected at Goldman," David said quietly. "And I've just received alerts from Geneva and the Cayman Islands. Your offshore accounts have been emptied." Marcus's phone slipped from his fingers. This wasn't a hack. This was surgical. This was personal. "Alex, no, impossible. Sweet, docile Alex." He called Kenji Tanaka. "Kenji, it's gone. All of it." "It has to be her," Marcus whispered. "She had a life before me. Opposition research. Forensics." Kenji's breath caught. "Jesus Christ, Marcus. That's not a side hustle. That's a weapon." Hours later, Kenji called back from the penthouse. "I'm in the penthouse, Marcus. The police are here. There is no forced entry. But she is gone. The server in the basement has been wiped. Professionally. Whatever was on it, Marcus, is gone. Or rather, someone else has it now." "And in the bedroom?" Marcus choked out. "She left something on your pillow." Kenji paused. A positive pregnancy test. A message. She wasn't just taking the money. She was taking his son. His heir. "Find her," Marcus hissed, his voice venomous. "I don't care what it costs. Use everything. I want Alexandra Ruiz found." The hunt had begun, but Alexandra Ruiz no longer existed. The aftermath. Justice is served 1 week later. A woman named Anna Millen, visibly pregnant, stepped off a train in Lisbon, Portugal. Her bright hair was cut and dyed a mousy brown. She checked into a modest, prepaid apartment overlooking the Tagus River. That night, she received an encrypted message from David. "They're good, Caro. Kenji's team is sharp. They tracked the money flow. They found the Liechtenstein account. They're moving to freeze it. Anna Millen, a.k.a. Alex Ruiz allowed a small, cold smile to touch her lips. She typed her reply. "I know. I hoped they would. How much was in it when they froze it?" David's answer, "About $5 million. Anna sipped her herbal tea. "Good. That was the bait. The rest is already in cold storage and gold bullion, in a vault in Zurich. Let them keep the 5 million. It's their finder's fee. She didn't stop there. She opened her new encrypted laptop and the 800-gigabyte contingency file. She didn't send it to the press. That was messy. Her way was surgical. She anonymized a single file. Proof of Marcus's specific insider trading on a recent corporate deal. She sent it to the SEC's dedicated whistleblower portal. She took another file. Proof of a Spanish senator's long-term affair, financed by a Thorn Capital slush fund. She sent it directly to the senator's wife, a woman known for being far more ruthless than her husband. And finally, she sent the files detailing Marcus's plans to leverage his own partners out of the new fund, anonymously, to the partners themselves. She closed the laptop. The storm had been unleashed. It wasn't about the money. It was about ensuring that man could never again use his power to threaten her or her child. Final significant ending. 3 months later, Ana Millan sat on a small balcony in Lisbon, the bright Portuguese sun warming her face. She held her newborn son, Leo. She was reading the international news on her tablet. Marcus Thorn, indicted on multiple counts of securities fraud. Senator. Redacted. Quietly resigns, citing family matters. Thorn Capital Partners. Files for bankruptcy after internal coup. She looked down at the sleeping baby in her arms. "It's just us now, little one," she whispered. It was never about revenge. It was about resilience. It was about reclaiming the dignity he had tried to take from her. She had been a victim. She became a survivor. Now, at last, she was free. Call to action. What do you think of Alex's plan? Do you believe Marcus Thorn will get what he deserves in court? If Alex's story of reclaiming her power with sheer intelligence resonated with you, please like and share this tale with someone who needs a reminder of their own strength. Leave a comment below. What do you think was Marcus's biggest mistake? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of justice and second chances. The Hunter and the Ghost. Operation Bonaparte, Phase 3. Did you love Part 1? Make sure you've hit subscribe and like this video to catch the moment Marcus finally finds his ghost, the fury of the fallen king. It was not the $600 million loss that truly broke Marcus Thorn. It was the utter humiliation. He was a king stripped naked in the public square. His company, his reputation, his leverage, all gone, thanks to the woman he dismissed as docile. Marcus was now marooned in a rented apartment in Miami, a pale, sweat-soaked echo of the titan who once commanded Wall Street. His remaining wealth was tied up in legal fees and dwindling assets. He was out on bail, facing multiple federal charges, but all of that was secondary. His singular obsession was Leo, his son, and the woman who had dared to take him. "I need her located, Kenji," Marcus snarled into the phone, his voice raw. "Forget the money. Forget the charges. I want a trace on the child." Kenji Tanaka, now Marcus's only remaining link to power, looked exhausted. "We hit a brick wall, Marcus. Ana Millan is a perfect ghost. The passport is real, issued through legitimate channels in Portugal. The financial trail of the $5 million she left behind was a dead end. It bounced through 10 different countries before dissolving." "What about the crypto?" Marcus demanded. "Untraceable. She didn't use a centralized exchange. She used David Ruiz, the brother. The kid's a genius, Marcus. He erased the ledger and used multiple mixers. That money is locked in cold storage, probably offshore." Marcus slammed his fist on the glass desk. "I don't care about David. I care about Alex. She made a mistake. Everyone makes a mistake. She has a tell. Find it." "What do you think is Alex's tell? What is the one thing Marcus knows about her that he could use against her? Leave your thoughts in the comments below." The thin thread. Marcus remembered a conversation from years ago, early in their courtship. Alex had mentioned a deep, almost religious connection to the Geronimos Monastery in Lisbon, a place her mother had always dreamed of visiting. A place of quiet contemplation, she'd called it. Sentimental nonsense, he'd thought then. Now, it was the thinnest, most desperate thread he had left. "Kenji," Marcus said, a manic clarity in his voice. "I want a private investigator on the ground in Lisbon. Someone subtle. They need to canvass 3 places: the waterfront area, the Geronimos Monastery, and the neighborhood surrounding the University of Lisbon. Check the local nurseries, the high-end organic markets." She was always obsessed with that. It was a shot in the dark, based on emotional residue and old habits, but it was the only shot he had. The quiet life. 3 months passed. Anna Milan had settled into a quiet rhythm. She had enrolled in online university courses, embracing the intellectual challenges of her old life. Leo was thriving. The money she'd secured meant she didn't have to work, allowing her to devote herself fully to her son. Yet, Alex was never truly at peace. Every time a shadow passed the window or a phone rang with an unknown number, the strategist in her tensed. She knew Marcus wasn't the type to simply disappear. He would hunt. One Tuesday morning, Alex was pushing Leo in a stroller near the Jardim da Estrela, a beautiful, peaceful park. She was distracted, reviewing an article on her tablet about Marcus's impending arraignment. Suddenly, a tall, nondescript man with sharp eyes, holding a local newspaper, walked past her and muttered a single, chilling word in English: "Ruiz." Alex's heart seized. She didn't look up. She didn't slow down. She continued pushing the stroller, her hands steady, her mind racing. He found me. The PI was good. He hadn't confronted her. He had simply planted the seed of fear, confirming his presence. Alex immediately initiated her pre-planned emergency protocol. She needed to move, and she needed David. The trap is sprung. Alex found a secure internet connection at a small cafe and sent a coded message to David. "Caro, the bird is flying. Initiating Project Phoenix." Project Phoenix was the financial and physical escape plan she had designed if Marcus ever got too close. It involved a staged withdrawal of a large sum of money from her new Portuguese bank account to create a false trail. David replied within minutes. "Got it. Setting fire to the digital forest now. The safe house is prepped. But Caro, he's going to come for you. He won't use the law anymore. He'll use muscle." Alex knew this was true. Marcus didn't want justice. He wanted his property back. 2 days later, she staged her disappearance perfectly. She left her apartment door slightly ajar, a half-packed suitcase visible, and her laptop open to a flight booking for Iceland. She wanted to project panic and immediate flight. She didn't go to the airport. She went to the only safe house David trusted, a remote, almost forgotten family cabin high in the Picos de Europa mountains in northern Spain, a place so cut off from the modern world that a secure VPN connection was virtually impossible. The final showdown, Marcus and 2 heavy-set men, retained through a sketchy contact in his old hedge fund days, landed in Lisbon less than 24 hours after Alex's staged escape. The PI led them straight to the empty apartment. When Marcus saw the flight screen open to Reykjavik, a triumphant grin spread across his face. "Idiot! She thinks she can hide in the Arctic." They took the first flight to Iceland. Marcus was so consumed by his rage and certainty that he never checked the apartment for a second trail. Meanwhile, Alex and Leo were settled into the freezing, but beautiful, Spanish cabin. The isolation was a relief, but also a prison. 3 days later, David called. "Marcus is in Iceland, searching," he whispered over the secure line. But one of his goons did something stupid. He left a financial trail on a cash withdrawal in Santander, Spain, before leaving for the airport. Marcus has to be back in Spain. He figured out the Iceland thing was a ruse. "He's coming," Alex murmured, rocking Leo gently. Caro, you have to leave now. He's close. I think he's heading for the Picos. Alex's breath hitched. Only David knew about this place. Marcus must have tortured the information out of Kenji or someone else in the old circle. I can't leave now, Alex whispered. The nearest town is 2 hours away, and I have Leo. Then you have to be ready, David pleaded. Alex hung up. She looked around the rugged, ancient cabin. There was no running away left. She was an opposition researcher, a dismantler. It was time to build a final trap. She quickly moved a heavy wooden chest across the front door. She took the car keys and tossed them into the deep, frozen well outside the cabin. She pulled a single item from her suitcase, not a weapon, but the USB drive containing Marcus's entire contingency file. The price of arrogance. It was nearly midnight when a set of headlights cut through the swirling snow. 2 vehicles, Marcus and his muscle. Alex stood in the cold kitchen, holding Leo close in a carrier against her chest. She took a deep breath, her maternal terror hardening into steel. Marcus walked up to the cabin door, kicking it violently. Alex, I know you're in there! Give me my son! The door groaned but held. It's over, Marcus, Alex shouted back. You lost. All your power is gone. I still have the power to take what's mine, he yelled. Give me Leo and I'll let you go, with your $1 million and your pathetic dignity. Fight me, and I'll have you declared insane, and you will never see him again. Alex walked to the window and placed her hand on the glass. You see this USB drive, Marcus? She called out, holding the little black stick up to the light. This is your life. Every secret, every corrupt politician, every offshore account. It's all right here. Marcus froze. He knew the drive was the real power. What do you want? I want you to leave, right now. You never contact me or Leo again. You plead guilty to your fraud charges, and you tell everyone I was the unstable one. The story ends with me getting nothing. And if I refuse? If you refuse, I press a button on this encrypted terminal, she said, tapping the keys of her laptop. And every newspaper in the world gets every single file. You won't just go to prison, Marcus. You'll go to solitary for the rest of your life. Marcus looked from the USB drive to the locked door, his face contorting in pure, impotent fury. He was cornered. He had lost. The powerful Marcus Thorne had been outsmarted by a woman he underestimated. He spat on the ground. This isn't over, Alex. It is, she said softly, but loud enough for him to hear. I took your empire, Marcus. You taught me how. And now, you'll never see your son again. He turned and got into the car, his 2 hired thugs following. The sound of the engine fading into the snowy, silent mountains was the sweetest sound Alex had ever heard. The meaningful conclusion. Alex and Leo stayed in the cabin for another week before David came for them. Marcus Thorne was arrested 2 days later when he returned to his lawyer's office, the legal process having finally caught up to him. He never mentioned the USB drive again. 2 years later, Alex had officially changed her name to Anna Milan. She and Leo lived a comfortable, quiet life in a small town in southern France. Marcus was serving a significant sentence in a high-security prison. Holding Leo's hand as they walked through a sun-drenched market, Alex didn't regret the price she paid for her freedom. She looked at her son, a symbol of the strength she found when everything was taken away. The true lesson of the Golden Cage wasn't that money corrupts, but that the power of love and self-respect is the only fortress a person truly needs. Call to action. That was intense. Did Alex make the right call in the final confrontation? Tell us your favorite part of Operation Bonaparte in the comments. Like this video and subscribe to join our community for more thrilling tales of justice. The Phoenix Rises. An epilogue on new beginnings. Thank you so much for following Operation Bonaparte. This is the final chapter, but the story is far from over. Show your love for Alex by hitting like and subscribing for the next thrilling series. The Quiet After the Storm. 5 years after the dramatic showdown in the Picos de Europa, The name Marcus Thorne was barely a whisper in the financial world. He was serving a 15-year sentence in a minimum security facility in upstate New York, a broken man whose only occasional victory was winning a game of chess in the prison yard. He had been stripped of everything: his assets, his reputation, and his right to appeal for custody of his son, Leo. Meanwhile, Anna Millan and Leo were flourishing in San Sebastian, Spain. Alex had chosen this vibrant coastal city for its perfect blend of sophistication and relative anonymity. She had reinvested a significant portion of the secured funds into a diverse, low-risk portfolio managed by a discreet wealth firm in Zurich. She was financially secure for life, but Alex was not content to merely exist. The 5 years had been a journey of transformation. She shed the last remnants of the fearful, trapped wife. The ruthless strategist had merged with a calm, deeply intelligent woman focused on ethical investment and motherhood. The launch of the lighthouse, Alex decided to use her unique skills, the forensic accounting combined with opposition research, for good. She launched a private, highly secretive consulting firm named The Lighthouse. Its mission: to help whistleblowers and victims of white-collar crime navigate the complex financial mazes created by powerful figures like Marcus. She never took a salary. The firm was funded by the interest from her own reserves, operating purely to expose corruption. David Ruiz was her silent technical partner, continuing to run interference from his loft in Barcelona, now a celebrated white-hat hacker focused on digital defense. One crisp autumn morning, David called. "Caro, I have a new file for the Lighthouse. You won't believe this. It's an acquisition target from Thorne Capital, Marcus's old firm. They're trying to hide the money through the same kind of Gibraltar shell you used years ago." Alex, now sitting in a sunlit office overlooking La Concha Bay, smiled faintly. Poor corporate security. They never learn, do they? Send it over, David. Let's shine a light on them. If you had the power to run a firm like the Lighthouse, what kind of corruption would you focus on dismantling first? Political bribery or financial fraud? Let us know in the comments. The final loose end, the only remaining loose end, was Sienna LaRue, the former mistress. Alex had long since moved past the anger, viewing Sienna as merely a symptom of Marcus's ego. But one day, while scrolling through a list of new clients referred to the Lighthouse, a name jumped out. Sienna LaRue. Alex hesitated for only a second before accepting the secure call. Sienna's face appeared on the screen, drawn, tired, and aged far beyond her years. "Ms. Milan, I know you won't believe me, but I didn't know about the baby, or the prenup. He always told me he was going to leave her eventually." Sienna's voice cracked. "He took everything from me too." Sienna explained that Marcus had used her identity, and her own small inheritance, to purchase a lavish condo, which was immediately seized by the U.S. government as part of his forfeited assets. She was left penniless and facing legal trouble for tax evasion linked to his schemes. Alex listened patiently. "Sienna," Alex said, her voice calm and firm, "I can't undo the government's seizures, but I can help you untangle your name from his corporate fraud. The Lighthouse will take your case pro bono. Not for you, but because Marcus Thorne must not be allowed to leave any victims behind." The look of profound gratitude on Sienna's face was all the closure Alex needed. It was not vengeance that brought peace, but the choice to stop the cycle of victimization. An enduring legacy. One evening, Alex was tucking Leo, now a bright, curious 6-year-old, into bed. He looked up at her with Marcus's piercing blue eyes, but with a kindness that was all her own. "Mommy?" Leo asked. "Why did we move here, away from New York?" Alex smiled, sitting on the edge of the bed. "Because, my love, sometimes people build beautiful, but very fragile, cages. And we are not meant to be caged, we are meant to be free." She touched the scar of a memory, the 2:17 a.m. buzz of the burner phone. It had been the catalyst for the greatest battle of her life, a battle that she won not with physical strength, but with her formidable intellect and the fierce, protective love of a mother. Alexandra Sterling had been trapped by love. Anna Millen was liberated by knowledge. The greatest treasure she had stolen from Marcus Thorne was not the $600 million, but the power of her own mind. That was the true and enduring legacy of Operation Bonaparte. Thank you for reading the final chapter of Operation Bonaparte. If this story of justice and female empowerment inspired you, please like this video, share it, and comment below with your biggest takeaway. Don't forget to subscribe for more unforgettable stories.